This is a very simple antique journal. On the cover, it's just lots of lace and it's very elegant. And when you come onto the inside, this is actually a very old insert that people used to put on their books. It came from this little box here, a very old library tag. So when you used to lend out a book, you would have your name inside here. So lots of old books have these great little glued on pages in the front. You can journal right off the get-go here. I've got a little journaling tag in here. You can also slip more of your tags and pages in the back there. Lots of space here. This is from an awesome gardening book, a very old gardening book. Look how vivid the colors are. They're almost blinding. And I made this little pouch here out of a vintage music sheet. And I made a little tag there to go on the inside. There's also a spot back here if you want to tuck some things away in there. And this is an old music book page from a music magazine. And this is an advertisement from that magazine on the other side. More journaling spots. This is from an old cookbook. Chocolate, the top flavor. And who doesn't love that? That is fantastic. And more of that same cookbook page there. And then I've added a little band here so you can tuck in more pages, but I've put in some vintage invoicing, handwritten invoices here. And I love that the pages are numbered on that. And this is just a very sweet little poem here and sentiments. Got a little journaling spot here. More of that great cookbook, frostings. And journaling page. And we've got a tuck spot here for index cards and tags. And that is more of that music magazine and the gardening book. This is the cover of a very funky hot pants or shorts ad from the 60s. So this would have been a sewing pattern. And in there you can tuck all kinds of pages, folded up pages, cards, whatever you like. This is from a bookkeeping ledger, over 100 years old. It's delicate, but you can easily write all over that. It's just so interesting and so beautiful. More journaling spots. And this is from a bird book from the 1950s. I love those images. And here's a hand-typed page on how to tell stories. This would have been the carbon copy. And then in here, I've made some more vintage tags out of book pages. And this is a photograph from the early 1900s of a young gentleman. And of course, back then they used to put a lot of their photos onto postcards so that they could send them to family and friends overseas. And again, that's the back. I kept the old staple in. I know that's a little detail, but I love it. It's endearing to me. This is from that same ledger I was telling you about, page 35, hand stamped. I just love it. You can even see that they've stamped it a bit crooked. And here's another one. You'll notice I do things like I leave the staple marks in because I just think it shows how authentic it is. And back here I made another little pouch out of a music sheet. Pretty little tags in there for you. And that's the top of a McCall's pattern. I try to use every little piece that I can. This is a tuck spot for another journaling tag. There's journaling pages in here. And you can also journal all over the front here and on this old ticket. This is from an old cookbook. I would say this is probably from the 60s, 70s. I can tell by the colors that they use. And got some more journaling pages here. And this is an old, it's from an old book. It's an illustration that I pulled out. This is not old, but it's just a great little vintage looking detail that you can journal on as well. Just a little poem here. More of those handwritten pages, hand-typed pages, more journaling spots. Another journaling tag inside of a pouch I made. So you can go into the front, add some more in the back if you want, little secret spots. Just some more little sentiments here, and a journaling page here. And there's the other side of that beautiful illustration. And there's more of that cookbook. And of course you can journal right onto the back page. This little guy is 3 signatures, which means it's probably about 60 pages, and that is going to run you $35. First come, first serve.